welcome back to this video series on clinical SAS TFL programming. So one of our user has asked why are we creating a dummy data set when we are creating treatment totals, and why are we merging our actual counts to treatment totals. So we will now see how and why we are creating a dummy treatment totals data set. So let us say that we are working with a data set called ADSL, and let's say this data set had two variables. The first one is unique subject identifier, which is U subj ID, and the second one, let's say we have a variable called treatment, and let's say we have 3 to 4 subjects. Let's say there is a subject called 1001 and he is in treatment 1, and let's say there is a second subject who is part of treatment 2, and let's say there is a third subject who is part of treatment 1, and let's say there is subject 4 and again in treatment 1. So as per the study design, so this study is expected to have 3 treatments, but on the data so far we only have subjects either in treatment 1 or 2, but do not have any subjects in treatment 3. So at the end we will have to report how many number of subjects are there in each individual treatment in the data we are reporting. So how many treatments are possible? So 1, 2 and 3. So let us try to manually identify how many number of subjects are there in each of the treatments. So we are trying to report the total number of subjects in each of the treatments. The possible treatments are 1, 2 and 3. So we have our actual data. So here let's now try to count how many number of subjects are there in treatment 1. So there is one record in treatment, so with value of 1. So this is the first record, and there is second subject this with a value of 1. So total now has become 2, and there is this third subject. So how many number of subjects do we have in treatment 1? So there are 3 subjects. So let's now count for treatment 2. So out of all the 4 records we have, only there is one record with a value of 2 in the treatment variable. So how many do we have in treatment 2? 1. So do we have any records in this data set with a value of 3 in the treatment variable? No. So we will have to report it as 0. So we know that we can make use of proc_freq to count the number of occurrences of each unique value in a particular variable. So we were using this procedure called proc_freq to obtain the counts. So we were saying proc_freq. So we have to specify the name of the input data set for which the proc_freq has to be run on. So we have our ADSL data set, and then in order to fetch or obtain the frequencies or the counts, so for each unique value present in a particular variable, we need to specify that variable name on a statement called table statement. So here we need to count the number of instances of each unique value present in treatment variable. So for that we need to specify treatment here. So in order to get the frequencies into a data set, we were using an option called out is equal to on table statement. So we were frequently naming it as TRT totals 01. So let us also use the same naming convention here. So let us use the run statement. So what happens when we execute this proc_freq code? So it will create a data set with 2 variables, 2 statistics. So the first one is count and the second one is percentage, and it will also have this additional variable which we have specified on the table statement. We have specified treatment, so we will have this treatment variable. So we have 2 standard statistics that are coming out of proc_freq, count and percentage in the output data set, and then the variable which we have specified on the treatment. So how does proc_freq work? So proc_freq gives us the total number of records within each unique value seen in this treatment variable. So how many unique values do we have in this treatment variable? We only have 2. The first one is 1 and the second one is 2. So it will create a row for each unique value present in the input variable which we have specified on the table statement. So it will give this number. So as we are not interested in percentage, I will try to manually fill in only the count. So we have now In the count variable, it will give the number of instances with the value of 1 in the input data set which we have specified. So how many number of instances are there? So 1, 2 and 3. So it would give us this 3 here. And how many number of records were there with 2? It was only 1. So here now we have got only 1. So if you see, so we had to report the third treatment also with a value of 0. So but what proc_fric does is it only gives us the summary of the unique values seen in the input variable. In the input variable there was no occurrence of 3, so it would not give a row for 3. So for that purpose what we did was we created a dummy data set called dummy underscore trt totals, and we used a do loop to create 3 instances. So and then we used an output statement, and then they end the do loop and then run it. So what is happening here now? So we are creating a data set to have 3 rows, 1, 2 and 3 in the variable named treatment. So we have these 3 rows. So what we did is we merged this data set to this data set based on treatment variables, and we did a full merge. So what happens? So it will give us 1, 2 and 3. And now, so for 1, what is there in the count variable? So we have it as 3. And for 2 we have 1. So when we do this actual merge, so what happens is we get this data. So but what we have done is, if a treatment is only present in this dummy data set but not in the actual data set, we have assigned it as 0. So for this purpose we create this dummy treatment totals data set and merge it with our actual counts data.